Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 Series Rescue the Rockies. And the 2038 season has been going very well for the Rockies as we sit here on August 1st, just past the trade deadline. 73 and 33 record, best in all of baseball, 14 games up on the Padres in the division. Did make one trade ahead of the trade deadline, brought on as a rental the veteran left-handed hitting outfielder James Wood from the New York Yankees, where he was a very temporary member of the team, playing just 42 games for them after being in Washington. Didn't perform well with the Yankees, and he's off to a very slow start for us. He's currently in the lineup as our designated hitter against right-handed pitching. Main reason we brought him on board was he's a very accomplished hitter. We didn't have to give up a ton for him in a trade, although we did part ways with former first-round draft pick Evan Kluver to rent Wood for the next couple of months. But we've had some injury issues in the outfield. Phil Dingwell is going to miss the entire year, although it looks after that injury during spring training that there's a chance he could be healthy if we make a long playoff run for perhaps a league championship series or a World Series. No idea what he'll look like at that point, but something to consider. More importantly and more relevant, Kevin Roberts Jr. finishing up a second extended stint on the IL this year, unfortunately. When Roberts Jr. comes back, we're going to have an embarrassment of riches for our roster against right-handed pitching. I think I'm probably leaning towards a suggestion from Ravenspawn 3 to move James Wood to just be our DH against left-handed pitching. Ted Miller, who is normally our DH when we face right-handed pitching, is 29 years old and still has pretty significant lefty-righty splits in favor of keeping him in the lineup against right-handed pitching. James Wood, also, as you'd expect from a left-handed hitter, is better against righties than he is against lefties, but still a very competent hitter against lefties, and he kind of is a new member of the team, fragile physically, want to keep him healthy, and certainly could be an incredible pinch hitting option over the last couple months of the season. Other guy to consider moving out of the lineup would be Anthony Pack Jr. He's having a brilliant year with a 119 WRC plus and a WAR close to 4 this year, driven by his continued strong defense. He's a 2-time Gold Glove winner and his continued success on the base paths. So tend to think that Wood may be the odd man out, hopefully in just a couple of days when Kevin Roberts Jr. is ready to come back. But if we do end up changing our plans around that, or we have some injuries that require further adjustments, we'll certainly let you know. Taking a look at the schedule for the month of August, we do have 6 games during the month against the Padres, who I mentioned are second in the division behind us. Got such a huge lead that it's probably not incredibly relevant, but still something to keep an eye on if we were to start struggling, and we haven't really struggled at all this season. Those games could become more interesting, but I think that scenario is relatively unlikely. And good news, 2 games into this month of August, we split the first 2, winning the final game of our series against the Cubs before losing yesterday at the beginning of this 2-game series in San Francisco. The good news, though, Kevin Roberts Jr. back and healthy. Hopefully we'll have him the rest of the way as our right fielder / cleanup hitter. Sent Chris Roy down to the minors. Almost gave myself a little bit of a heart attack, though. Couldn't find our shortstop, Dervy Mahez, when I came to the roster page to put Roberts Jr. back in and mess with the lineups. And as it turns out, Mahez must have been clicked on with his little radio button clicked in the roster screen for us, because yesterday I went through and cleared out some players in our international complex who have crappy personalities and or very low potential that were picked up over the last few months to clear up some space there. And all of a sudden, Mahez disappeared, and fortunately realized that we mistakenly released him yesterday, as when we released all those guys, he must have also been clicked on. So fortunately, we're able to bring him back. Probably lost a game of action for him, but fortunately, no harm, no foul when all is said and done. We'll see if this team that is likely the team that we'll have for the playoffs, if everyone remains healthy, can continue to play well over this month of August. And the month of August has been going well. We salvaged the sweep in San Francisco. Then we took 3 out of 4 against San Diego. Split 2 games against Seattle. And then we won 3 out of 4 home against St. Louis. So headed into a stretch where we've got several games against National League foes coming up, at Arizona, at Milwaukee, and at Atlanta on a long 10-game road trip back at home to face the Astros and then our divisional rival San Diego Padres before the end of the month. Taking a quick look at the standings, we've extended our lead on the Padres to 21 games, so our magic number here on August 16th is already down to 23. Only question is really whether we'll end up with the best record in the National League and the best record in baseball. We are 7.5 games up on the Astros, who we will be playing, as I just noted, for the best record in baseball at this point. And they've definitely passed the A's, who not that long ago had the second best record in baseball in the American League West. The Brewers are our main competition at this point for the best record in the National League, and we're 10.5 games up on them, so still feeling very good about things as we close in about 2 weeks away from September roster expansion. Mike Castro still battling for his first potential batting title. Johnny Castillo, 3rd in the league in ribbies. Anthony Pack Jr., 3rd in steals. Castro also 3rd in the league in OPS and batter WAR. Pitching-wise, Leo Martinez continues to have a really strong year, 2nd in the league in ERA, 3rd in pitcher WAR, and Bernie Barrera up to 15 wins, 15-2 record with a 3.56 ERA for the starting pitcher, who's done a very nice job for us the last couple of seasons. And the second half of August was very successful as well. We won 2 out of 3 in Arizona, 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, and then we swept the 4 games in Atlanta on that road trip. Took 2 out of 3 back home against Houston, and we've split the first 2 of this series against Padres. So we have the rubber game of the series today at home against San Diego. But before we get to that, September roster expansion time, which we'll focus on. The only thing I know for sure is that the outfielder Chris Roy, who we sent down when we brought Mr. Wood on board, and Roberts got healthy, will be coming back. Other than that, though, 3 interesting choices ahead of us. Magic number down to just 6 at this point. 24-game lead on the Diamondbacks, who have now passed the Padres in the standings. Castro continues to make a strong case to be at least considered for the MVP this year. 2nd in the league in batter WAR, 3rd in OPS, and basically tied for first with Alex Holguin of Pittsburgh for the batting title. But I guess Holguin would win on percentage points. Castillo, 2nd in the league in steals. Pack still 3rd in the league in ribbies. Leo Martinez making a late push for the potential Cy Young Award, now tied for 2nd in the league in wins with his teammate Barrera at 15. He remains 3rd in the league in pitcher WAR, 2nd in the league in ERA. Certainly Pablo Garcia looks like he is going to be tough to beat with that 1.90 ERA and 5.7 WAR. Garcia 14-4 with 206 strikeouts for Miami. The 26-year-old certainly looks like an outstanding pitcher. It looks like it's his first, actually not his first really full season in the majors. Looks like he probably had some injury issues in 2037, but he did start 23 games back in 2036, so not quite a full year for him there. And actually, he's got 5 years of experience, so he's been around in the majors for a while at this point. Only 26 years old, and he's been in the majors since he was 21. He was an all-star for the first time this year, and as I noted, certainly looking like he's going to be a strong candidate for the Cy Young Award here in 2038. Taking a look at the team statistics, a 20-8 record in August, which is outstanding, but our streak of improving our winning percentage every month finally came to an end. Figured that had to at some point after boosting the monthly winning percentage to 760 in July. Still an absolutely dominant team, though. First in the league in runs scored, first in the league in runs allowed, first or second in every major pitching category, first in almost every hitting category, the exceptions being third in homers and eighth in steals. Excellent defensive team and an excellent base running team as well here for our Rockies. And admittedly, not the most inspired or exciting choices that we've made when it comes to September roster expansion. Not a lot of high-level young talent in AAA at this point that isn't already on the team or hasn't already played for us. So position players, 2 additions. Chris Roy, we mentioned, expected that he would come back after we had to dump him in AAA Albuquerque when Kevin Roberts Jr. got healthy. Fortunately, he does have his final year of option eligibility this year. He was productive in Albuquerque, been borderline respectable at the major leagues. Lil D hasn't really worked out the way we hoped he would after we picked him in the 6th round out of Auburn, but still will be a reserve outfielder for us down the stretch. Similarly, the catcher Nate Harris, who's been on paper our backup most of his career with us since we picked him up in a trade with the Yankees about 4 years ago, but he oftentimes has been our starter because of the significant injury issues that Mike Girard has had over the course of his career. Another guy who had option years available, and with Girard and Lee healthy at catcher this year, spent the entire year in AAA, where he certainly held his own offensively. Give us a little more flexibility with another right-handed bat off the bench, and a guy who can certainly catch for us in a pinch if we make some switches. But the 29-year-old, probably not a huge part of our future at this point. 2 additions on the pitching staff, and at least these are somewhat less experienced players. The lefty Jake Lyons, 25-year-old former 2nd-round pick out of West Virginia, got caught in a numbers game this year. He had a solid ERA in the 5 games that he pitched for us, but spent most of the year in AAA Albuquerque. The lefty is now back to continue to try to make a case to become a more permanent member of the Rockies major league team after having a brief experience last year and this year in the majors. And then we also promoted a second lefty pitcher, Danny Dominguez, 25-year-old former 8th-round pick, 9-8 with a 4.33 ERA in AAA Albuquerque this year. Looks like a long reliever, back of the rotation type of guy. Does have that captain personality and some positive personality traits. Not a ton of stamina as a starter. Did start 23 games for us in AAA, but certainly, unless we have some injury issues, would view him more as a long reliever / mop-up guy. And you can see those are the roles that we have him slated for over the near term as he gets a chance to make his major league debut in the coming weeks. And I mentioned we've got the rubber game of our series against the Padres today, 3 more at home against Atlanta before we go on the road. Not inconceivable if we sweep those 4 games that will already have the division locked up before we go on the road to face the Dodgers and the Cubs. Certainly would expect that the division will be locked up by the middle of the month in a worst case scenario. Then the only question becomes, when will we lock up the best record in the NL and the best record in the major leagues? And even more importantly than that, can we keep this team healthy as we position for the playoffs? You can see the schedule for the month of September, and then we also have 3 final games in October against the Diamondbacks before the postseason will begin. And our Rockies did go 3-1. We have clinched a playoff spot, which never really was in much doubt. Still haven't clinched the division yet, though. The Diamondbacks have won 4 in a row, so our magic number is down to 2, just a matter of time until that happens. Did get one piece of bad news, unfortunately. James Wood, and we've tried to baby him as much as we could. He's basically been a DH only for us against left-handed pitching, and his fragility still comes back to bite us. A torn ab muscle, so the playoff rental is unfortunately not going to get a chance to be in the playoffs with us this year. Very brief foray with the Rockies for Wood in the course of his career. Hit .255 in 55 at-bats, 4 doubles, a homer, and 12 ribbies. Basically was a league average offensive player for us, but his career in Colorado is almost certainly over at this point. He will be a free agent, looking for $18 million a year for 4 years, given that he's 36 years old. Certainly on the decline, fragile in terms of his injury proneness, and not necessarily the greatest influence in the clubhouse with that low work ethic. Find it a extremely low probability that he will be anything more than about a 5.5-week rental for us. And with that injury to Wood, Jose Gonzaba gets the opportunity to make his major league debut, and he's actually going to be our DH against left-handed pitching. The 25-year-old who was a minor league free agent signing almost 3 years ago has kind of been stuck in AAA the last couple years. Hit only .218 this year in 417 at-bats, but he did have 26 homers and 67 ribbies. Certainly was not as productive as he was in AAA a year ago. Probably a little frustrated that he didn't make it to the majors. The reasons we never called him up, he's got a pretty miserable personality, low leadership, loyalty, and work ethic to go with high financial ambition. And he is also a strikeout machine who struggles to make contact. 163 strikeouts and 417 at-bats this year, and we already noted the batting average just .218. Does have potentially outstanding gap power, above average speed, and well above average home run power. And as I noted, down the stretch, we will give him a chance to see what he can do as our designated hitter against left-handed pitching. And I said at the start of September that we'd have the division easily wrapped up by the middle of the month. We do have it wrapped up, but we've done it the hard way. Our first real losing streak of the season, 5-6 road trip, swept by the Dodgers, and then lost 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. So a 1-5 record since the last time we checked in. Certainly our worst week of the season. But as we head into the final 3 weeks of this 2038 season, we have clinched the title, 20.5 games up on the Diamondbacks at this point. Battle for the best record in baseball. Looks like we are 8.5 up on the Astros, so certainly feeling good about that. And Milwaukee is now 12 games behind us in the battle for the best record in the NL, so certainly going to win over 100 games, going to end up with home field advantage throughout the playoffs when all was said and done. The leaderboard not looking quite as strong for us after that slump. Johnny Castillo second in the league in ribbies. But you can see Mike Castro's been slumping of late, no longer among the top three in the batting race or in OPS or batter WAR. So his MVP candidacy may be taking a bit of the hit over the last several weeks. Leo Martinez, third now in the league in ERA and third in pitcher WAR. Bernie Barrera tied for the league, tied for second in the league in wins. We'll see when all is said and done what everyone does over these final 3 weeks, whether we end up with anyone near the top of the leaderboard. But the primary goal is to remain healthy over these final 3 weeks of the season and get ourselves in position where we can get a little rest before a divisional series begins. And fortunately, our homestand was as good as our road trip was bad. 5-1 record, sweeping the Phillies, and then taking 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers at home. So a little less than 2 weeks left in the regular season at this point, and 102-48 record for our Rockies. Certainly have an opportunity to have a historic season. 13 games up on the Brewers at this point, so we have clinched the best record in the National League. The Astros 10.5 behind us, so with 12 games to go, certainly think that we will clinch the best record in baseball probably in the next 3 days against San Francisco. Castro hitting a little better of late, up to third in the batting race, third in OPS. Still having a very fine season a year after he led the league in at-bats, runs, and hits. Obviously, as we talked about, competing for a potential batting title, has still put up a 5.7 WAR on the season. He is a guy who also still is eligible for that prospect promotion incentive, so certainly would love to see him finish near the top in the MVP voting this year, even if he doesn't actually win the award. And our Rockies have put up a second straight 5-1 week, this one on the road, swept 3 games in San Francisco and then took 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. So obviously we've now clinched the best record in baseball, home field advantage throughout the playoffs at 107-49. Unfortunately, the injury issues starting to creep up. J.D. Lee has been dealing with a bruised elbow. We've had him just sitting on the bench, although it looks like he's going to need a little bit more time there to get fully healed. But with Harris up in particular, certainly fine to just have him sitting. Center fielder Anthony Pack Jr., back sprain, going to keep him out for the final week of the season. Unlikely that he'll play again, although I guess it's possible he'll play the final game of the season when all is said and done. Had an outstanding year for us, hit 273, 14 homers, 59 ribbies, 41 stolen bases, put up a 106 WRC plus and a 4.7 WAR. Fielding-wise, 14.4 zone rating, 1.082 defensive efficiency, 7 assists from his center field spot with just a couple of errors. Certainly would think that he'll get some attention for a potential third Gold Glove when we get to November. And the regular season is over. Took 2 out of 3 at home against San Francisco, and then we did lose 2 out of 3 against Arizona to finish up. But ultimately, regular season very successful, 110 wins, best record in baseball. We won 108 each of the last 2 seasons, so finally took a little bit of a step forward from those records. Johnny Castillo, after leading the league in home runs last year, or tying for the league lead in home runs with 38 and winning Rookie of the Year. Very similar season to his rookie year. Second in the league in ribbies, hit 282, 37 homers, and those 114 runs driven in. Pack Jr., despite missing every game of that final week of the season, although he did finally play today, third in the league with 41 stolen bases. Bernie Barrera ends up leading the league with 19 wins. Leo Martinez finishes second in the league in both earned run average and pitcher WAR. Pablo Garcia, who is having a really big year that we talked about, finishes third in both categories. Interestingly, Arturo Martinez is probably your Cy Young Award favorite at this point. 18-6 record, leading the league in innings pitched, ERA, strikeouts per nine, quality start percentage, FIP minus, and pitcher WAR. He broke Leo Martinez's streak of 3 straight Cy Young Awards a year ago, and the young Padres pitcher certainly looks like he may get a second Cy Young Award here in 2038. Thinking about how this team has performed, the 110 wins, the second most that we've ever had with these Rockies. The 116 wins that we had in 2032, the only time we've had a better team. Interestingly, though, and this might be a bad omen, that 116 win team is the only time in the last 7 seasons that we haven't won a title. We won in 2031, our first title, 116 wins in 2032, but we came up short. Won 5 World Series in a row since then, and we will be going for history coming this October. The team in a pretty good position as we think about that. Everyone on the 30-man roster is healthy and well at this point, so we should have some interesting decisions to make when it comes to the playoff roster. Phil Dingwell, now just a week or 2 away from returning from that ruptured Achilles. We'll see what he looks like on the other side. He'll probably certainly have some rust after missing the entire season since he suffered that injury in spring training. But particularly with the injury that Mr. Wood just suffered, knowing that we're going to lose him, I think it's not inconceivable that Dingwell, if we make a long run in the playoffs, will get a chance to try to contribute for us. And before we finish up the episode, we'll take a quick look at the September call-ups and how they all performed. Danny Dominguez, 4.32 ERA over 8 1/3 innings pitched. Pitched just 4 innings for us as a long reliever, but was certainly respectable at the major league level and could be a contender to be on the roster next year. Jake Lyons had already pitched 4 1/3 innings for us earlier this year. He finishes with 8 1/3 innings, not that effective here in September. The ERA close to 9, 8 walks in those 8 1/3 innings, although if we look at his control, that's a surprisingly high number. Might just be some bad luck, but he's another guy who likely will be battling for a roster spot in his major league future next spring training. We reunited with Nate Harris, as we talked about. He only started 1 game for us. Presumably it was when Lee was on the bench. Hit 143 in 7 at-bats, just the 1 hit in 7 at-bats, struck out 3 times. Probably not a huge part of our future, as we noted at this point. Also brought Chris Roy back up. He ended up hitting 246 on the year in 240 at-bats, was below replacement level when all was said and done. Another guy who will be competing to be the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th man on the roster for the next year or two. Certainly no guarantee that he will be on the team. And last but not least, Jose Gonzaba. What did the former minor league free agent international signing do for us? Didn't get much of an opportunity, quite honestly. He was 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts. So kind of as expected for Gonzaba in the limited action that he did get an opportunity at the major league level. But certainly don't think we can draw any 100% determinations based on a sample size of just 7 at-bats, but striking out 6 times in 7 at-bats at the major league level is certainly a trend that needs to be considered when we think about his future. And the final thing before we finish things up, take a look at the team statistics for the full year. The 110 wins, 6 above expectations. We were 31-16 in 1-run games this year, although we did have a losing record in extra inning games. 16-9 in December. only 1-2 in October, so we finally had a losing month, although it was a small sample size. Hopefully that does not portend negative things coming for us. Finished first in the league in runs scored with 896, and you can see a pretty dominant offensive team, first or second in every offensive category except for strikeouts, where we were seventh, second in the league in steals, third in base running, third in defensive efficiency, and first in zone rating. And an outstanding pitching staff, allowed just 647 runs, best in the NL, first, second, or third in all of the primary pitching categories. So we are set up very well with some rest coming up before our time in the playoffs begins. As I mentioned, the 110 wins, the second most that we've ever had with this Rockies franchise, and the only team that ever won more for our Rockies flamed out in the playoffs. So hopefully that does not preview what will happen in the postseason. And we will find out whether we can win the unprecedented sixth straight title in our next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.